Today's lore story is for Opardin Clanfather. Hey, welcome! I'm LeilaFox. Today's lore story is going to be for Opardin Clanfather. He is the new legendary barbarian champ that happens to be the fragment fusion for January 2022. Now, what's interesting about him is when you look at him right off the bat, he doesn't exactly look like a barbarian. Like when we look at his face, it clearly looks like he has horns growing out of his head. So one of the biggest things that I know people are saying is he seems like he belongs in the Skinwalkers. But for some reason, Plarium decided to put him in the barbarians instead. So what's the deal with Opardin Clanfather? Let's check out his story from the Tolarian Lore Book of Champions.
From the day of his birth, Opardin had been marked by spirits. His ashen skin and the first sprouts of twisting horns caused a great deal of commotion amid the clansmen. But the wise woman who served the chieftain saw something beyond the infant's strange appearance. She believed that Huldercall, the mythical forest spirits of the Nor homeland, bestowed their blessing on the child. For it was their blood that flowed in Opardin's veins. Their strength and cunning would be his birthright. Though some remained wary, the clansmen bowed before the witch's knowledge and let the boy live. Opardin grew up and matured under the watchful gaze of the chieftain and his warriors. He had proven himself both strong and brave in that time. Yet the prophesied wisdom was not as swift to manifest. The young warrior was a braggart beyond equal who cared only about fame. Wisdom came later, and at a terrible price. Once upon a bloody dawn, a raiding party of orc fell upon the village. Opardin was among the first to join the fray, but his thoughts were on proving his might rather than on protecting his kin. Like a raging bull, he smashed into the attackers. None of them could match his prowess, but Opardin was still one man against a score of brutal foes. Alone, he was delayed and could not aid his friends and kin while they were overwhelmed all around him. In the end, the Nor prevailed at great cost. Many were slain, and Opardin too returned to find his mother amid the bodies of the dead. Heartbroken by the realization that his own selfishness and lust for glory were to blame, he left the clan and went into a self-imposed exile. For many years his fate remained unknown. Many even believed he had taken his life, unable to bear the shame. But they were wrong. Opardin returned almost a decade later, matured by the journey and the lessons he had learned in distant lands. It took many moons to win the trust of his kindred once more, but Opardin never backed down from a challenge. He was confident in his abilities, yet humble and respectful to his elders, and his hard-won wisdom shined in times of great peril. First, Opardin regained his clan's trust. Then he rose through the ranks to become the chieftain's right hand. When the old warrior finally drew his last breath and departed the mortal world, few were surprised to see Opardin inherit the mantle. His pride tempered by reason, Opardin knew that he was no noble of the civilized kingdoms, where one's birth alone entitled them to wealth and respect. He knew the price of failure and hubris, and even strove to uphold the virtues of the Nor. Soon, Opardin became known as the Clanfather, to whom all could turn for guidance, and never did the clan know a worthier ruler. Some even maintain Opardin did not waste away as mortals do, but instead ascended to join the ancestors' sacred host, to do eternal battles against evil that threatens the world. Whether there is any truth to those stories, few can tell.
Alright, so that was the story for Opardin, and again, I'm gonna be honest, I still don't see him fitting in with the barbarians. I really don't. I know Plarium wants him there, but he just doesn't feel that way to me. It's interesting how the story starts out, how when he's born, he's given these magical powers by forest spirits, right? And then that's what causes his horns to grow. And in some weird way, the first thing that came to mind for me is kind of the storyline with Frozen 2 and what they did with Elsa, where again her powers came from the magic forest there. So I don't know, that was the first thing that popped into my head when I was reading this. Did Plarium use that as inspiration? I have no idea, to try to get him in the barbarians. But it is interesting how he grows up and he's hot-headed, right? He has an ego, he wants glory, and then so his his encampment is attacked. And what does he do? He just rams right on in. Total pun intended, by the way, since I still think he's a goat and belongs in the Skinwalkers. He rams head first, starts fighting, but at a price, because then we find that his mother was killed, along with other of his tribe. And he takes it personally as something that he did, and he puts himself in a self-imposed exile. But in that time frame, he travels the land and he matures, he grows, he learns, and he comes back to redeem himself. And he ends up being willing to earn the clan's trust again. So he comes back, starts at the bottom, earns trust, and ends up working his way up the ranks pretty much, right? So where he ends up becoming the Clanfather, like they say. He becomes the leader of the tribe. So I think in ways it is a really, really good story of redemption. It's a really good story of trying to do the right thing, right? Because I think a lot of people can relate to that when you're younger, maybe you're reckless, you're hot-headed, then a tragedy happens, and then you can kind of go backwards and seclude yourself, or you could try to kind of grow as a person and make amends for what you did. And it seems like that's what we see here, is that he went the route of trying to make amends and trying to be a better person. I would love to know what you guys think for the story for Opardin. Leave me some comments down below. Is this what you were thinking? Do you agree with me? Should he still be in Skinwalkers? I think so, even according to the lore. Let me know what you guys think. Leave me some comments. Hey, if you enjoyed this video, check out some more videos up here in the playlist on the top right.